India, an ancient civilization rich in diversity, language and culture. But in the shadow of colonial rule, this vibrant mosaic was dramatically reshaped. This is the story of how colonialism changed the very soul of India, from her languages and literature to religion, art and identity. Let's dive into the long-lasting legacy of colonialism on Indian culture and who we are today. It began not with warships, but with trade. In the early 17th century, the British East India Company arrived on Indian shores. What followed was one of history's most consequential transformations. Through cunning diplomacy, manipulation of internal conflicts and military might, they overthrew Indian rulers and gradually morphed from merchants to monarchs. The 1857 rebellion, India's first major resistance, marked a turning point. The British Crown took direct control, ushering in the Britishraj. The British imposed Western legal frameworks, fundamentally altering India's judicial systems. The Indian Penal Code of 1860 still forms the backbone of Indian criminal law today. Education became a colonial tool. Lord Macaulay's infamous 1835 Minute advocated for creating a class of Indians who were Indian in blood and colour, but English in taste. Traditional gurukuls and madrasas were sidelined for English medium schools, breaking cultural continuity. Yet, resistance brewed. The very tools of colonialism, English education, modern press, railways, also ignited nationalist consciousness. Thinkers like Dadabhai Naoroji, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and later Gandhi and Nehru used British institutions and language to challenge colonial rule. This paradox remains central to India's post-colonial identity. Oppression led to awakening. Language and literature played a crucial role in shaping the national consciousness. Indian writers and poets began to use English not just as a language of the colonizers, but as a powerful tool to express their own ideas, aspirations, and resistance. This literary movement became a vital part of the broader struggle for independence, blending traditional Indian themes with modern, global perspectives. Language, the vessel of thought, memory, and culture, was a battleground under colonial rule. English was enforced in administration and education. Persian, the language of Mughal courts, was dethroned. Indigenous languages were dismissed as unscientific and primitive. However, English also became a medium of resistance. Think Raja Rao, R.K. Narayan, Salman Rushdie, and Arundhati Roy, voices who used the colonizer's tongue to tell the colonized truth. But what did we lose? Oral traditions and regional languages suffered. Tribal dialects, many without written scripts, faced near extinction. The printing press, once a revolutionary tool, became another channel for spreading British ideals, while also giving rise to journals like Kesari, The Hindu, and Amrita Bazar Patrika, which fanned anti-colonial sentiment. Thus, colonialism fractured India's linguistic landscape, but also created a powerful literary legacy of protest and pride. Colonial aesthetics sought to redefine civilized art. Indian art was often branded as exotic, erotic, or crude. Traditional art forms like Madhubani, Patachitra, and miniature painting were either neglected or commodified for British tastes. Art schools like Calcutta School of Art promoted European realism, sidelining indigenous forms. Yet from suppression, a new synthesis emerged. The Bengal School of Art, led by Abanindranath Tagore, rejected European realism and revived Indian spiritual themes with modern flair. Handicrafts, once thriving under royal patronage, declined due to mass-produced British imports. But icons like Gandhi revalorized khadi and crafts as symbols of Swadeshi resistance. Architecture too bore the colonial stamp. Lutyens Delhi, railway stations and universities blended Victorian, Gothic and Indo-Saracenic styles, a physical metaphor of hybrid identity. Colonialism disrupted Indian aesthetics, but also gave birth to a conscious reclamation of cultural pride. Religion and identity in India were deeply intertwined, and colonial rules sought to redefine these connections. The British introduced new classifications and census categories, aiming to control and manipulate the diverse religious landscape. Despite this, Indians found ways to preserve their spiritual traditions and cultural identities, resisting the colonial impositions. Colonialism didn't just govern bodies, it tried to reshape souls. The British often viewed Indian society through a lens of religious essentialism, reducing fluid identities into rigid categories: Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christian. Their census classifications deepened religious divides and laid the groundwork for communal politics. At the same time, Christian missionaries set up schools and hospitals, sometimes coercively, sparking a defensive revivalism in Hinduism and Islam. Movements like the Arya Samaj, Brahmo Samaj, and Aligarh movement emerged, part spiritual revival, part social reform. For many, religion became a source of political identity. The British cleverly used the divide and rule tactic, pitting communities against each other. This colonial legacy played a significant role in the tragic partition of 1947, one of the largest and bloodiest mass migrations in history. Even today, echoes of these divisions persist, proof that colonial interventions into identity outlived the empire itself. The story doesn't end with independence. Colonialism's legacy is still with us, in our judiciary, education system, railways bureaucracy, even in our aspirations. Should we decolonize the curriculum, replace colonial street names, rethink English dominance in schools? These are not just academic debates, but deeply personal questions about who we are and who we want to be. Yet post-colonial India is not merely a reaction to the past, it is also a celebration of resilience. We've preserved ancient traditions while embracing modernity. We've produced Nobel laureates, spiritual leaders, and tech pioneers, all shaped by the contradictions of colonialism. Colonialism left scars, but it also awakened a sleeping civilization. India today is a testament to endurance, adaptation, and cultural dynamism. To move forward, we must remember, not with bitterness but with clarity. Let us reclaim our identity, not by erasing the past, but by understanding it. EpochPedia, bringing history alive. Like, share, subscribe, and join the conversation in comments.